Illegal migration is spiraling out of control in the UK, threatening national security. Can Reform UK stop this crisis? In this video, Talk TV's Jeremy Kyle sits down with Reform UK MP Sarah Pochin to unpack their bold plans to tackle this urgent issue. Plus, we'll explore how the leadership principle of moral courage shapes critical government decisions. Before we get into the details, if you love diving into political issues and enjoy hearing a principled take on them, then hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to join the conversation. It will help our channel reach a wider audience.
Nigel Farage standing up, putting meat on the bone and doing something that I haven't seen a British politician do for a long time. Stand for an hour unscripted, take on and answer questions from reporters who are deliberately trying to trip him up, and be brave enough and strong enough to say, I've read the room, I know what's happening in this country, and whatever is going to be thrown at myself and my party, I swear to you, the electorate, I'll do my best to get it done. Brave words.
That's right. And Nigel is one of those very rare and special politicians who does read the mood of the British people and who knows exactly what needs to happen now. And I believe that he understands, as I believe too, that the British people now do have the stomach for something radical. They know that we have to declare a state of national emergency, and that the legislation that we are introducing, that will be in our manifesto that we've been talking about today, is uncompromising, and that's where we are now at. So Reform will, as we've been saying for a long time, on day one start the process of leaving the ECHR. The second thing that we'll do, Jeremy, is we will repeal the Human Rights Act. And these two things in themselves have to go, because this is what the industry of left-wing lawyers rely on for endless appeals of these illegal migrants.
Right, so let's cut to this. You were a magistrate for 20 years, and what I said to Isabel, I want to say to you. This isn't about what I think or really, this is about the British people. So my job is to ask questions, okay? So radical, yes. Achievable, I think a lot of people contacting the show hope it is, but let's talk about the ECHR and the Human Rights Acts. To me as a voter, I think that this country should be able to decide what it does with its territory, with its people, and I think a government's first responsibility, as I said an hour ago, is to look after its own. I get told by all sorts of people, I had Ivan Sampson on an hour ago, that you can't just change international law. You can't just do what you want to do. There are, strict. John McDonnell says, this is, so you want children to live unsafely and die, do you? How? Whatever his impetus, belief, verve, whatever you want to call it, how is Reform going to take on the establishment, the blob, the critics, the mainstream media, all of the legalities, all of the problems that will be thrown? Because the critics today are saying it's not possible what he's saying he'll do. It isn't possible. Now, I happen to believe it is, and I hope it is, but how do you convince people that, Sarah?
It absolutely is possible. It's about the will of the government. And for 14 years, the Conservative government have betrayed the British people and effectively got us into this place. And 12 months of a Labour government has just exacerbated and speeded up, if you like, the problem that we're now facing. But it's about the will of the government. And if the British people want to see a stop to this, then these policies will be in our manifesto and they will vote for it. And when we are in power with the will of the British people behind us, then we have the majority in government to do these things. You can leave the ECHR.
Are you telling me then that politicians in the past who have had majorities, I'm thinking Boris Johnson, I'm thinking have not actually had the will, despite being given that electoral advantage, that they haven't faced down the people that Dominic Cummings, I have to say, not a fan, but he turned out to be correct, didn't he? Talks about the people that really in the shadows are seemingly running this country. I mean, loads of people texted today, Sarah, and saying, what about the House of Lords? They block anything that makes sense. How are you going to deal with the House of Lords?
We just keep pushing it through. Boris opened the floodgates again to immigration. Boris turned out to be a really liberal conservative, didn't he? How terribly disappointing he was on this issue and others, but on this issue in particular. The fact is that if you have a state of emergency, if under the Vienna Convention you feel that your national security is being threatened, which it clearly is, then you are able to disapply laws that, as I say, the left-wing human rights lawyers use for endless appeals. That is what reform will do. We will take and we will make those radical moves. And yes, we will be criticised for it. It doesn't change anything about the basic laws of this country. Law and order in this country is based on our own common law. That doesn't change if we leave the ECHR. What does change is that we take back control of our judicial system. We take back control of our judges. And we stop these endless appeals of these migrants. So it means that we can immediately detain and then deport every illegal immigrant that either arrives in this country or that we find in this country.
It's really interesting. I had Ivan Sampson on. It's a friend of mine. Listen, we would disagree on most things, but you know, he was good enough to come on. I wouldn't, you know, it's just an opinion. I'm not saying he looked defeated, but I felt that there was a sort of acknowledgement from Ivan that you know, that the tide really is turning. I see politicians who are interested in legacy, so they don't do enough. I see or saw a man today who basically believes in something and didn't just say it for the sake of vote, said it because he believes it. And I think it's very interesting listening to the outpouring of sort of, you know, shock and horror by the left. I mean, what is this, the Liberal Democrats? Farage's plan crumbles under the most basic scrutiny. The idea that Reform UK is going to magic up some new places to detain people and deport them to, but don't have a clue where those places will be, is taking the public for fools.
Listen, that is just white noise, Jeremy. The fact is it doesn't matter where we detain them. They will be deported. And this whole policy is not a long-term thing. As soon as the message gets out there that you come to these shores and you are detained and deported, then people stop coming. Australia's done it, as I've said before. The fact is as well, under this new illegal migration bill or mass deportation bill, like it or loathe it, that's the terminology we now need to be using because we are being invaded. Under this bill, the Home Secretary now has a legal duty to deport anyone who is here illegally. And incidentally, I should add, it's not just about the people arriving on the boats, it's about the people that have overstayed their visas. And there are hundreds of thousands of those too, which are not checked up on.
I guess what I'm asking you badly, Sarah, is it idealistic or is it achievable? What Nigel Farage said to the British people today, because the traction's extraordinary. Is it idealistic or is it achievable?
It's utterly achievable with politicians like reform politicians who truly believe that now is the time that this has to, well, we believed it should have been done years ago, but the point is we've got to the stage now, even with 4 MPs, we will get in government because you are talking now to a real politician who, again, like you said about Mrs. Thatcher, I don't care how much abuse I get from the liberal, Greens and all the rest of it. You know what? This is about enacting the will of the British people. It is about a state of national security. And you have to have politicians that don't care about being popular.
Politicians with moral courage do not shy away from tough questions or media scrutiny. They speak from the heart, guided by an unwavering commitment to their nation's future. Moral courage in leadership means standing firm on what is right, even when it's unpopular, to make the country safer, stronger, and more prosperous. Reform UK MP Sarah Pochin stresses that the government's approach to immigration must reflect the will of the people, not the agendas of out-of-touch elites. Yet under both Conservative and Labour governments, we have seen betrayal after betrayal of public trust on this issue. True leadership requires listening to the people, really hearing them, and acting with conviction to deliver what they demand. Leaders with moral courage are rare, but they are exactly what the UK needs. The public wants politicians they can trust to deliver real lasting change. These are leaders who stand for truth and justice, undeterred by media smears or political backlash. Moral courage means being uncompromising when it comes to what is true, right, and just for the nation, even when the stakes are high and the criticism is fierce. Could Reform UK's push for bold immigration reform with moral courage reshape the nation's future? What do you think it would take to restore trust in the government and secure the UK? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.